So,
I'm just going to share the screen so that they can see it.
and then where's start webinar? Oh, all this new stuff. Actually, can I go back
Oh,
to,
I'm sorry.
if
Yeah,
I have to share some things?
no problem.
Okay, so let's do that. Share screen, and it looks like we have some attendees in. All right, so we're going to go back. All right, I'd like to welcome everyone to the Virtual College Exploration for all students. It's sponsored by the New Jersey Association for College Admissions Counseling and StriveScan. So thank you for joining us. A few housekeeping announcements before we get started. You can use the Q&A button on your screen to type your questions to our presenters at any time. Your camera and microphone are off, so the panelists cannot see or hear you. This is just one of many different sessions happening, so be sure to check out the full schedule at NJACAC.org. This presentation is being recorded and will be available within about a week at the same website, NJACAC.org. I'd like to turn it over to our presenters.
All right. Well, good evening, everybody. Thank you for joining. I'm just going to get our presentation going. And welcome. We are really excited to talk to you more about the Rutgers University system. We will just briefly introduce ourselves and then we'll jump right into the session. So my name is Mitch Marcus. I am an admissions coordinator with Rutgers University-New Brunswick.
Hi, everybody. My name is Brittany Echt, and I'm the Assistant Director of Admissions on the Rutgers Camden campus.
Good evening, everybody. My name is Jacob Acosta, and I am one of the admissions officers for first-year students at Rutgers University-Newark.
Perfect. So we are just going to jump, like I said, right into our topic for today. And just to give you a brief overview, I represent Rutgers University-New Brunswick, so we are the centralmost location in the Rutgers University system. We are also part of the Big Ten Conference, for those of you not familiar with our school. So a few fun things that I just like to point out for everyone is that we are considered the #1 most diverse school within the Big Ten Conference. We really pride ourselves on bringing in students from a variety of different backgrounds and perspectives when it comes to our campus environment. A third of our students on our campus are the first in their families to go to college, and so a lot of the services and support that we'll talk about today on the New Brunswick campus and throughout a lot of our different regional universities will also speak to some of the services we have in place for students who are also going to be the first in their family interested in coming to the university setting in college. And one of the nice things that I like to point out is that out of the 750 plus student organizations on our campus, over 100 of those are cultural organizations, and we do have 5 cultural centers for students coming from, again, different backgrounds to connect with communities that we have on our campus. So on the New Brunswick campus, we like to say that we're really committed to access. The programs that you're seeing on your screen are just a sampling of some of the different opportunities that we have when it comes to affordability and just access when it comes to the Rutgers University New Brunswick campus. I'll just highlight a couple of them very briefly for you so you can get more of an overview. The Lewis Stokes Alliance for Minority Participation is a program to help students who are interested in the STEM field, so science, technology, engineering, and math, to get more access and information about what those opportunities look like for them. And we also do help you acquire some research programs as well. So it's a really nice initiative that we have in place if those of you are interested in hands-on experiential learning and really thinking about science as your career path when it comes to undergraduate services. In the corner in the middle, you'll see the Rutgers Collaborative Center, and the Rutgers Collaborative Center is really unique in that we are really prideful on giving back to our community in New Brunswick. And so the Rutgers Collaborative Center allows students to work as a youth mentor within the local New Brunswick district and really be able to give back and help service those students who are so integral to our community, being that we're smack dab in the middle of the city of New Brunswick. And then, of course, we have our Are You First initiative. So again, for any students who are on the call today, that are going to be the first in their families to go to college, we have a whole center and initiative in place to help you with support services and just a variety of different opportunities and programs to really help you when it comes to your academic success, as well as professional development and peer assistance. One of the signature programs that we're going to talk about today, and this is something that's housed on all 3 of our campuses, is something called the Educational Opportunity Fund. So for those of you thinking about the EOF program as you get ready to apply, or for those of you who haven't heard of it before, this is a program that's run by the state of New Jersey and it's offered on the Rutgers campuses. It's designed for students who demonstrate the potential to succeed on our campuses, but would benefit from additional academic and financial support assistance. And so we'll speak about a little bit as to what the EOF program entails. There are 3 really key components when it comes to EOF. The first part is going to be our Summer Institute. It's kind of the signature program to help you transition from high school to college. And what we have you do is we have you come in over the summer to the various schools that you may have been accepted to and chose to enroll to. And you get to actually take some classes as a college student a little bit earlier on than your peers. We help acclimate you to the various campuses. So whether you're a student with us in New Brunswick, at our Camden campus or Newark campus, you get that early access to some of the facilities and some of the amenities that we have on our different campuses. And it's a really nice way to, again, build a smaller community within the larger Rutgers setting. Each of our EOF scholars as well gets some additional support when it comes to advising. They each have individual advisors on our campuses. And so EOF students are specifically tailored to an EOF counselor who will help you work through all things that you're going through at the university, whether it's personal things, things with your academic life, with your roommate, whatever you might have going on. The EOF advisors are really like a family that you have and a nice network that you get to come into when you come to the Rutgers University setting. And the final piece that's really nice about EOF is that you get some additional financial assistance. And so that comes in the form of a grant, which is money that you don't have to pay back to us when you are a student on our campus. And so being an EOF student and a scholar on our campus, you're able to acquire some additional support from the state in terms of that financial benefit. So it really is a great signature program that we do want to encourage you to think about if you are interested and eligible. One of the things that we're also partner college with on the New Brunswick campus is called the Dream.US Scholarship. So for any dreamers that are on the call, or if any students have DACA status, we do have a specific scholarship in place for you to help cover tuition and fees. There's 2 kinds of scholarships that are available, the National Scholarship or the Opportunity Scholarship. More information can be found on the Dream.US website, but the biggest things to keep in mind are some of these bullets that you're seeing, that the scholarship is going to open this November. So for anybody who is interested in applying to the university this year, the scholarship is external, so it's not part of our application process, but something that will open up in early November and will close in mid-February or late February for you to apply. Again, this is a nice gap scholarship in that this will cover the cost of tuition, fees, whatever you may have that's not already part of your financial packaging. And our promise to you is that we will cover the rest of that through this Dream.US scholarship. So again, for any students who might be interested or potentially eligible for this program, we are partner college and we do encourage you to visit the Dream.US website for more information. And then last but not least, I just want to give everyone a brief update as to what's going on our campus. So as many of you may be familiar with, the Rutgers University system has gone remote for the fall, but that does not mean that we are not connected to our students. And specifically in the New Brunswick campus, I just wanted to highlight a few services and what they're doing to really keep our students engaged. And so, for example, our Center for Latino Arts and Culture is a really big cultural center on our campus. They actually hosted their Welcome to La Familia event through Zoom. They still had some academic advising programs specifically for students who are affiliated with the CLAC, is what we call it for short, with our deans. For any students who just needed some additional support or guidance during this time, our Counseling and Psychological Services office was providing teletalk services, in addition to some other phone and video group workshops. For those students who are part of our Honors College on our campus, which is one of the living learning communities we offer, we have some change-making communities and affinity groups for, again, students to help find that sense of community and really build their networks in this virtual environment. And last but not least, we have our residence life services. So for any students who are residing with us on campus in a very limited capacity right now, we do have some partnerships and things in place. And for any students who are part of our living learning and thematic communities, we had some opportunities for them to still engage with the residence halls, with their resident assistants, and just peers who are interested in those like-minded communities. So that is everything for me on the New Brunswick campus. I am going to pass it over to my colleague, Brittany, to talk about everything in Camden. And I apologize, I had one more thing in front of me, but just a quick pitch. we're not running any physical tours on our campus right now, but we absolutely would still love you to connect with us. And so the exploreRutgers.com page, which we will talk more about at the end, is a great way to connect with our current students through virtual information sessions or virtual tours. So again, exploreRutgers.com, it's a great website to just check out all the different offerings that we have at this time. And I do apologize. Now we will really turn it over to Brittany to talk about Camden.
It's lucky that we're good friends on all three of the campuses. I'll let it slide, Mitch, no problem. But again, welcome to this virtual session. We're so happy that you're here. Again, my name is Brittany. I am the Assistant Director of Admissions on the Rutgers Camden campus, and I'm happy to share a little bit about our accessible programs and what it means to be a Rutgers Camden accessible student. All right, so just some very, very quick information. We are the southernmost campus. On Mitch's last slide, you saw the train going to Philadelphia. Go down that way. We're about an hour and 15 minutes south of the New Brunswick campus. We have about 5,500 undergraduate students. That's going to break down into an average class size of somewhere between 25 to 35 students. Again, along with the New Brunswick campus, we are primarily remote for this current fall semester. But in a normal year, we have 750 plus students who live on our campus, and that can mean a lot of different things in terms of the different programming that's available to our students that live on campus. But we love it best when our campus is filled, and I think I speak for all three of us when I say that what we want is a full campus. So this breaks our hearts, guys. So we are, super hopeful that by the time, if we have any seniors on this video call, that you'll be able to be physically on our campuses come next fall. All right, so I want to talk about the student support that we give outside of the classroom. So we absolutely, as you can see, have the EOF program on our campus as well, but we also have other programs that help a student who may not be an EOF student. So our TRIO program on campus is specifically for students who are first-generation college students. It's extra layers of support. Once you are on campus, you have advising within the TRIO program as well. We do have our Learning Center on campus, so this is where you would go if you do need tutoring. So all of our tutors are current students, they're upper level students. They had to be recommended for the position by a faculty member. They are vetted, but they are there to help you in all of the different subject areas. We have a disability services office on campus. So if any of you would be coming to us, coming from high school with an individualized education plan, we have counselors within the disability services office who will work with you to see what type of level of support we can offer you both in and outside the classroom. And I also really want to talk about our student success coaches. So every student, in addition to the academic advising a piece, will also have a student success coach. This is someone who, take the academic out of the picture for a minute. Let's say that your transition from high school to college is a little bit trickier than you thought. Let's say in a situation like this, where you were expecting in-person classes and now they're all virtual, and you're having just a little bit of an adjustment, and college in itself is an adjustment, but you will have this person that you can go talk to. So they can help map out a schedule. They can kind of help get your time management skills up to par if it's needed, and just be that extra person to be able to talk to say, I have X, Y, and Z on my plate. I need a little bit of help to be able to get everything all together so I can be successful in the classroom. That's what our student success coaches help you do. We also have the physical aspect, right? So we do have a health and wellness center on our campus that is still open during this pandemic, because we also have students that are on campus, but you can do, the tele appointments either with a physician or a counselor, because we know that physical and mental health are very, very important to our students. When it comes to the academic side of the house now, we have our writing and design lab within our English department. So we have tutors that specifically just work with you regarding your papers and just making sure that your formatting is correct and things of those natures. Academic advising, you do have an advisor within your major. So every student will meet with their academic advisor at least twice, once in the fall and once in the spring, to make sure that you are staying on track with the courses that you need to take in order for you to graduate from Rutgers Camden within the 4-year aspect. And then last but not least, we have our Career Center. Our Career Center hosts a lot of different webinars and a lot of different workshops to really help you take that next step. So they will offer different programs on resume writing, on interview techniques. Let's say that, as the student you can see on the screen is drinking a Starbucks. Let's say that your internship coordinator says to you, why don't you meet me at Starbucks for your interview? Are you ready to drink your latte and have a professional conversation in a very non-professional setting? Just things of that you might not think about, little tips and tricks like that. They also offer different career and internship fairs. So we have organizations and companies that will come back on campus. You can do interviews right on the spot. You can hand in your resume, and then you will, be able to kind of move through whatever their process would be, to potentially gain that internship. That office, the Career Center, also sponsors our graduate fairs. So for those of you who are already thinking ahead, we do offer the support for you to explore different graduate level programs. I want to talk very briefly about financial aid. So specifically on the Rutgers University Camden campus, we do offer merit-based scholarships, and you do not have to apply separately. If you are admitted, you will automatically be reviewed for a merit-based scholarship. And if you are awarded one, you will receive a mailed letter in your acceptance packet. We offer competitive financial aid packages both for our in-state and our out-of-state students. For those of you who are with us from out of state, you may notice as you go on our website that the cost of attendance is different for an in-state versus an out-of-state student. That's going to be at any state institution that you're looking at. So just know whether you're an in-state student or an out-of-state student, we offer very competitive financial aid packages to make it as affordable as possible for you. And for our international students who don't qualify for any federal-based aid, we do have an International Chancellor Scholarship that every international student that is admitted will be reviewed for. All right, and then I think this is my last slide, but this program is very specific to Rutgers University Camden, and it's called Bridging the Gap. This program is applied for our New Jersey residents, so you do have to be a resident of New Jersey, you do have to be graduating from a New Jersey high school and coming directly to Rutgers Camden, but your FAFSA that you will fill out is your application for this program. After any and all gift aid in terms of a merit-based scholarship or grants or loans are applied to your financial aid package, if you still have money left to pay towards your tuition and your general campus fee, depending upon what your family's adjusted gross income is, you will be reviewed for the Bridging the Gap program, and if you qualify, it will automatically be applied to the balance that you owe towards your tuition and your general campus fee. You don't have to do anything extra for this program to be reviewed for it. All you have to do is file the FAFSA, make sure Rutgers is listed, make sure you've applied to a Rutgers Camden choice, and if admitted, we'll look for that adjusted gross income, which is something that you provide on the FAFSA, and we could potentially come in and help to bridge the gap of your attendance, either 50%, 75%, or 100%. It is renewable for all 4 years as well, and because your financial situation can change, you can move in between those different income bands, because we understand that, especially with COVID, your family's income may have drastically changed and then may change yet again. So we will review you every year for your eligibility. And yep, I'm done. So now I will turn it over to my colleague in Newark, Jay Kidd.
Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Jay Kidd Acosta, and I am the first year admissions officer at Rutgers University-Newark. And I'm going to give you a brief overview of what it will be like to be a student at Rutgers University-Newark. So Rutgers University-Newark is the northmost campus of the Rutgers University system. We are currently considered a medium-sized institution with around 14,500 students. We're on the tipping side of becoming a large-sized institution. When people ask me, what is Rutgers University-Newark known for? Rutgers University-Newark is known for its diversity. We are ranked the #1 most diverse university in the country for a little over 22 years, according to U.S. News and World Report. We have over 100 different nationalities represented to our campus. We have over 70 languages spoken on our campus. Everything from student veterans to students with disabilities, to single parents, to non-traditional students. You name it, we most likely have it within our university. We have 7 schools. 5 of them, which are open to our undergraduate students, include a School of Arts and Sciences, a Rutgers Business School, a School of Criminal Justice, a School of Public Affairs and Administration, and we do have a university college, which really takes care of those non-traditional students. We have approximately 2,000 students living on campus pre-COVID. Currently, because of our CDC response to that, we have actually reduced our occupancy to a little less than 25%. So currently we're about between 450 to 500 students actually living on campus. Our student to faculty ratio is 12 to 1, is 12 to 1 across the entire system. And we are considering NCAA Division III schools with about 16 teams, including male and female sports. Rutgers University-Newark really prides itself in being an anchor institution within the city of Newark. And our strength as being an anchor institution really derives from our commitment to the city of Newark. We really honor that influence by providing students pathways to success. And we do that by connecting them with unique opportunities with real hands-on learning experiences within a variety of fields. We do this by providing internships, class-based experiences. We leverage our connections across the city, not only to just benefit our students, but to also provide benefit to our city. We do provide networking and mutual advancements that comes from those partnerships. A good example of what I'm trying to tell you is the School of Public Affairs and Administration has really good connections when it comes to our municipal government within the city of Newark. Our Rutgers Business School in Newark has connections, Prudential Financial, Audible.com, Panasonic North America, even with the FBI office for the Northeast region. We also have a School of Criminal Justice that has connections to federal, state, and local agencies, and even some social justice organizations that are based within the city of Newark. About maybe now is going to be about 4 or 5 years ago, actually President Obama himself came to the School of Criminal Justice to talk about social justice reform that pretty much revolutionizes that prison to student pipeline and reintegrating previously incarcerated people into society. We do have through the Newark College of Arts and Sciences, we have arts partnerships with Express Newark and deep ties with the Newark arts community, science research, like the neuroscience work that we're currently working with that is happening in terms of Alzheimer's within the Black community. Now, these are two unique opportunities that I really want you to remember that are based within within Rutgers University-Newark. The first one that I want to talk to you about is Run to the Top, which stands for Rutgers University-Newark Talent and Opportunities Pathways. It covers the cost of in-state tuition and mandatory fees through a last dollar scholarship. In order for you to qualify for this specific scholarship, you actually have to live within the city of Newark or graduate from any of the community colleges within the state of New Jersey. In order for you to qualify for this specific scholarship, you actually do have to complete your FAFSA application. And as long as your household income is less than $60,000, you could pretty much come with no out-of-pocket costs to you. So Run to the Top, if you live within the city of Newark, or if you graduate from any of the community colleges in the state of New Jersey, and your household income is under $60,000, I highly recommend that you consider this program. Now, the Honors Living Learning Community is a very high-profile program within Rutgers University-Newark. It has been featured in the New York Times twice. It has been featured in Vogue magazine. Prudential Financial actually donated $10 million to further improve the mission of this specific program. It is a cohort residential program that is looking to revolutionize what honors is. In order for you to be considered for this program, all you have to do is click a question on the application that says, do I want to be considered to the Honors Living Learning Community? The second that you click on that question, you will be invited to a group interview. We're still working on how that group interview is going to work, given our response to COVID-19. Once you do go through that group interview, then you do a 2-on-1 interview. There are options to do this remotely, so that we do have a little bit of experience with. This program is a cohort residential program, so if you get accepted into the program, you do have to live on campus, but because of that, the program will actually cover through a last dollar scholarship your living expenses to actually live on campus. This program is completely focused on social justice. So if you know of any specific social justice issue within your community and you think that you might have a reasonable approach to try to solve this issue, I strongly recommend that you consider the Honors Living Learning community. And I believe now we go back to Mitch.
Perfect. Thanks, everybody. So I just wanted to shortly provide everybody with some admissions updates. We've been talking a lot about our accessibility, our affordability, and one of the big things that changed this year is so much of the application process in terms of the questions that we're asking and the way that we're reviewing students. So as far as the application goes, we are test optional for spring 2021 and fall 2021 semesters. If you are unable to sit for the SAT or ACT exam, this will not negatively impact you, my apologies, in the application process. It's important to know that because I know students are constantly asking, if I'm able to sit for the exam, should I submit scores? And we would love for you to submit scores if you're able to safely take the exam and you feel strongly that you want to submit that as part of your application, but by no means is this a requirement across the Rutgers system for this year. The other thing that we did do in the application process is extend our timeline for supporting credentials. So we are allowing students some additional time, which will go into the next slide, to submit a self-reported academic record to get those scores in place if you need them, and to piece together the different parts of your application, especially if you're applying for our EOF program or any of the other special opportunities we talked about today. The other thing that has changed is our COVID-19 question. That is new, and that's something that's separate from our essay. So when you go ahead and apply to the university setting, you will specifically be asked a series of questions about how the pandemic may have affected you either personally or academically. You are able to answer these questions and know that it is just going to the admissions staff, so it's not being shared out with anybody else. But again, we want to note that this is separate from your personal statement. Rutgers still wants you to dream big and still be really excited that you're in high school and getting ready for this next really great opportunity to be an undergraduate student, whether it's at our school or another school. And so we still want you to really put that into your personal statement when it comes to the application process. And then as far as some just updates for the EOF application, for any of you considering our Educational Opportunity Fund, we do request some specific information for you, and this is all outlined on our website for the EOF page. So if any of you go and visit that page, you'll see that we're looking at specific documentation for you to provide, but we do provide samples of that. And for those of you thinking about it, we will need 2018 tax information for this year. So it's just something to keep in the back of your head as you get ready to apply for the EOF program, that we may need to ask for this additional financial documentation in order to verify your eligibility for the program. And last but not least is our application. So we hope that you get really excited about applying to Rutgers and are excited to hear more about our schools. We'll each be hosting information sessions, I know, throughout this time during the Exploration Week. So we hope that you're able to connect with us at a later time as well to hear more about our institutions. But just to give you a brief overview of how the application actually works and when we need all those pieces together that we just talked about, we are available through the Rutgers application or the Coalition application. And for those of you not familiar with the Coalition, this is an equal access platform that allows students to apply to our various universities on a simple application. So it's really great if you have other schools that are being considered through the Coalition in order to submit those credentials and get everything pieced to us. Otherwise, you are more than welcome to go onto our website and you can apply to each of our institutions on the website. So you can select schools in New Brunswick, schools at the Newark campus, and schools at the Camden campus on one application. We do ask for a self-reported academic record at our school, and that's a little bit unique in that we're not asking you for high school transcripts. And so what students have to do is they actually self-report their grades on a platform and then link that back to their application. So it's very simple in that you'll choose your 9th to 11th grade courses, put the grades in, and if you are seniors in high school this year, you will put those courses as in progress. One of the changes that took place this year on the SRA are to, again, accommodate students who may have had a disruption in their learning last spring or even this fall, as some of you are on different plans and different models for your schools, is there is a COVID-19 question to indicate if your grading scale did go pass fail, if anything had changed, just so we are aware of that information at the time of application. Like I mentioned before, our SAT or ACT scores are going to be optional for this year. And again, do not feel stressed if you are not able to sit for the exam. It is totally okay to apply to any of our schools as a test optional candidate. And last but not least, we do have an application fee to cover the cost of applying to the various schools. So again, being able to select 3 schools or schools across the various Rutgers system. But we do offer fee waivers, and we're generally very liberal when it comes to the fee waiver process. So if any of you qualify for a fee waiver, you're welcome to contact your respective admissions offices, and we will be able to waive that application fee for you if that is going to pose a hardship at the time of application. We do not want that to be the reason why you do not apply to the Rutgers system. So please do let us know if you do need a fee waiver. And then last but not least are just the deadlines to keep in mind. So it's October 1st. I cannot believe it's October 1st already, but that means we are rapidly approaching our dates and deadlines for the application. For those of you who are really eager and excited about Rutgers and want to apply early, that's great. We have an early action deadline, which is non-binding, meaning that you do not have to come to our school, but you do get a decision a little bit sooner than your peers who apply by our December 1 deadline. Our December 1 deadline is a big deadline for a lot of us, and that's our regular decision deadline, and that is the latest day to apply for merit-based scholarships on the New Brunswick campus. Is that this? It's the same, right, for our Newark and Camden? Nope, not. Okay, so I'm not going to speak on behalf of our other schools, but for us in New Brunswick, and again, I'll let Newark and Camden jump in as well. That is the latest stage to apply for merit-based scholarships on our campus. So it's just something to keep in mind. But again, we do have a regular decision deadline for those of you who do need more time to apply to the university. I am going to stop talking for a minute before we go into Q&A to let Newark and Camden speak about the intricacies with their application process as well.
Sure, absolutely. So much of what Mitch said is 100% accurate for the Camden campus as well. One thing that I do want to point out is regardless of which application you apply through, after you submit that initial application, you do have the ability to use a special link on your status site that will enable you to pick more campuses. So initially you'll pick 3 or 3 schools on a campus. If you, after you hit that submit button, come back and say, you know what, I really want to add another choice, you can do that yourself. You don't necessarily have to reach out to us to do it, but you can always do that if that's easier for you, but we offer you the opportunity to do it yourselves. I do believe that we can see up to 6 in our system, I believe, up to 6 schools, I think, for this upcoming year. So, you know, don't feel that the application is going to necessarily limit you to only the 3 choices. You do have the chance to kind of mix and match different schools on different campuses with your application process. The only thing that is different for us is that December 1st is not the last day in order to apply for merit-based scholarships. We do tend to continue reviewing for merit-based scholarships throughout the spring semester if the students are eligible to receive it. So we don't have a date necessarily that we stop reviewing for scholarships. As long as we have the funds available, as the applications come in, we will review for scholarships. However, we do very strongly recommend that you apply by the November or the December due date, just for your comfort level. You'll have done what you needed to do early. We'll be able to offer you an admissions decision early. You'll know, if Rutgers is a school that you can really consider. You'll get your financial aid package earlier, which means you'll get notification of all of your different aid earlier, which could be a game changer. The later you apply to any of us, the shorter the time you'll have to make a decision. We don't want to put that type of stress on you. If you get everything into us earlier and we respond to you earlier, you get your financial aid package earlier, it will be a much less stressful spring for your senior year of high school.
I just want to reiterate the fact that, the university has gone, TEPS optional. This is a big opportunity for you to, relieve the anxiety, because I know a lot of students have been reaching out to us, letting us know that, my March SAT score got canceled. They waited until the summer. Oh, that got canceled also. Some places cancel their September dates. So, that level of anxiety can be relieved by our new process of making test scores optional. Now going with the scenario of like, oh, test scores are optional. Are you being considered for scholarships? Yes. Are we not just only considering you for admission into the university through a optional test basis, but we're actually reviewing students for scholarships without test scores. So really take advantage of this time. The only exception for the test optional situation is the 7-year BA/MD program at Rutgers University-Newark, which happens to be very popular. Our 7-year BA/MD program is still a test required program. Now, a lot of students are like, well, what are the benefits to this? Well, this program actually comes with a full presidential scholarship. Your tuition, fees, room and board, everything is covered. But for that specific program, you do have to submit test scores. There are some others, specific professional programs within the university that do require test scores. So just make sure that you follow up with those specific departments.
That's a great point, J-Kid. It's the same for the BSDO program that's offered on the Camden campus. That program is a doctor of osteopathic medicine, but again, it's the accelerated format that we actually have with Rowan University. But that program on our campus is the only program that is asking for you to still submit SAT or ACT scores as part of your application requirement.
Perfect. All right, so we are just going to jump right in. I see we had a number of questions coming through the Q&A, so we will start looking at those and just start addressing, the majority of your questions as we can. All right, so it looks like our first question that I'm seeing in here is, what are we looking for in a college essay? And I think that's a great question. I can start with it and then please feel free to jump in. But a lot of what at least we're looking for on the New Brunswick campus when you go ahead and apply in a personal statement is insight as to who you are as an applicant, what your character looks like, what you're looking to accomplish, what you're looking to bring to a campus setting. We understand that the pandemic has impacted people in significant ways, and we still absolutely want you to be able to account for that on your application, but we still want you to be really excited about this next chapter in your life. And so that personal statement is really a great way to provide us insight as to who you are and what you bring to the table. So it's really more important than ever that you really share to us something that you're passionate about, something that you feel very strongly about, whether it's an idea, concept, something that you did in high school or maybe in your life that was impactful to you. But the essay is really that opportunity to, again, for us to get to know you and really hear more about your story.
Going off from what Mitch said, our college essay is not just a general essay, just one question. Our application process actually gives you, I believe it's 4 questions, right? 4 questions on the application. So you actually get to choose from one of the 4 questions. And then I believe the very last question actually makes it very open for you to be able to really give us an idea of not who you are as a student, but who you are as a person. Yes, we could see your academic track, we could see your test scores, we could see your background, your academic background, but what else do you like to do? Who you are as a person is as important to us as who you are as a student. So really take advantage of how you can go about answering that college essay.
And it also doesn't matter. Don't feel that you have to pick the open-ended question. If you feel more comfortable answering one of the predetermined topics, that's great. I mean, you can write very passionately about one of those predetermined topics and not have to go, completely, in the open-ended question. There is no wrong answer with this essay. That's what's really great about it. It's really what you feel comfortable sharing and what you feel is going to highlight your strengths, and to really, again, to echo what both Mitch and J-Kid said, tell us more about you that we don't see just by looking on that application. And that can be done by doing the open-ended or doing one of the predetermined topic questions.
So another question that I'm seeing in here that I will share with all of us, we have the question of, if I'm someone who's now able to sit for the SAT or ACT at some point this fall, and I applied as a test optional candidate, can I switch? What does that look like for me? And so on the New Brunswick campus, we are allowing students to make this decision. If you apply as a test optional candidate, or if you apply as a candidate with test scores, you can choose at any point to switch to either test optional or to a candidate with test scores. The caveat is that you can only make this decision once. And so we really want you to think about this and really take some time if you do end up saying, yes, I am going to test optional, or yes, I am going to go as an applicant submitting scores. We are allowing students on the New Brunswick campus to make this decision until January 15th. So well after your application has been submitted, you can then say to us, you know what, I'd like to be considered without test scores, or you know what, I was able to sit for the SAT at some point in the fall, and I'd like to now be considered with my scores. If that differs on the Camden or Newark campuses, I will let them speak for that, but by no means is that something that you cannot do. It's a possibility. It's just a choice that we want you to really take very seriously and with consideration. So that's why we're giving you the extra time to do that, but it is an option.
I would just say ditto. Ditto for us. We do really very strongly want you to ponder that before you make the decision. Because again, just like on the New Brunswick campus, you only have that option once. So, you know, you can't change your mind 2 and 3 times because, you know, either you weren't happy with test scores that you took, you know, months later. So just, you know, before you answer that question, just take time to think about it, but do know that you have that one option to change your mind.
Yeah, within Rutgers University, you know, we have always been known for providing access to students. When it comes with the TEPS optional option for students, we always say, you know, ask yourself, is my test scores going to affect my chances of admission, or are they going to actually promote my application and actually increase the chances of me being admitted to the university? If you think that your test scores are really going to affect your offer of admission, don't submit them. That's what the word optional means. It gives you the option of not submitting your test scores. But if you think that you have a very competitive test score, you're very confident that you want to show off that test score, by all means, select the option to submit your test scores. There's nothing wrong with that.
So that looks like that was all the questions we had. So I just want to again thank everyone for joining us this evening. And on behalf of the Rutgers system, we are so glad that you were able to join us. And we really do hope that we are able to see you soon on our campus. And please do connect with us. We are more than happy to answer any questions or, you know, help you along the way as you go through your applications and get ready for what's really an exciting time in your college search journey.
All right, I want to thank everyone for joining us. And when you close out this window, there will be a link to a very quick 4-question survey. We would appreciate any feedback you can provide. Also, this was just one of many sessions being hosted, so be sure to sign up for additional sessions at NJACAC.org. In about a week, you'll be able to find the sessions recording as well as all the other sessions recordings at NJACAC.org. Thank you very much.